I'm Christine Spindel, and I came from Memphis, Tennessee to live at Clark Lindsay Village. In 1947, I went to work at a new radio station. I was about 24 years old, and program directors were older men who'd been in radio a long time. On a trip back to Memphis from Nashville, where we'd been at a convention, on a dark, lonely road in the middle of the night, my boss asked me to move over closer to him. And he whispered, because there were two men in the back seat asleep. He said, "What would you think about programming for black people?" And my skies lit up. My fireworks exploded because we had searched for an audience, and this was the audience that had no radio station. Not anywhere in the United States was there a black man on the air. We didn't even know if a lot of employees would leave. We held meetings of the staff. We said, you can either opt out, we get 2 weeks pay, or you can stay and work. Then we finally came the day, October the 25th, 1948. I went into the studio about 3:45 and met the black man who was going on the air, a high school history teacher. I had to sort of make sure this went through, so I got the microphone. And we seated the man at the table, and I held that microphone. I put it firmly down on the table. They said I just hung on to it. The telephones rang. It just exploded. All of them were ringing at one time. And my boss sent me out to answer. And it seemed like people were very upset to have a black man speaking on the air. Help the black people. You got a cross burned in your yard, or you got the corner of your building blown up. So every morning I went to the radio station wondering if it would still be there. In about 3 weeks, all the letters and all the telephone calls died down. And it wasn't long before we were the highest rated station in the city of Memphis. We had nearly half the listeners. One rainy morning, it was either late March or early April, when the rain was coming down, my boss called me to come down. He wanted me to listen to a young man who had arrived at the radio station. When I went down, I found a young man introduced as Riley B. King, who was wet from walking 6 miles from downtown Memphis. His guitar case was leaning against the wall. It was also wet, and a dripping umbrella nearby. And so my boss introduced him and said, "Now, Riley, go into the studio and play 2 songs for this lady." My boss renamed him B.B. King, and he was instantly a great success. After B.B. King came, then suddenly entertainers appeared at the station asking to go on the air. We had people who wanted to be disc jockeys, people who wanted to be singers, and our music room was lined with people. We served the community. We served the black community in every way possible. I believe every black musician that ever came up from the South came through Memphis and WDIA. I would like people to know that whatever color, whatever political belief, whatever religious belief, whatever they hold, or however they differ in their thought, underneath, we're all just the same. We're all human beings with one group with the same desires and hopes and feelings.